Hello everyone! Dear students, today we will be talking about creative writing. Also known as the art of making things up, creative writing is a vital part of modern society. In this lesson, we will explore what makes writing creative. We will also use some famous examples to see what makes creative writing successful. We could say that creative writing is any writing that goes outside the bounds of normal professional, journalistic, academic, or technical forms of literature. It is usually identified by an emphasis on certain elements, such as narrative craft, character development, and others. A news article, for example, cannot be considered creative writing because its main goal is to present facts and not to express the feelings of the writer. While a news article can be entertaining, its main purpose is to present the facts. Though the definition is rather loose, creative writing can, for the most part, be considered as any writing that is original and self-expressive. Creative writing is guided by the many of the same essential principles that govern other kinds of writing, such as understand your audience, create a cohesive piece of writing, edit your work, and so on. But the practice also allows writers a freedom to explore topics, formats, and expressions which are often discouraged or unacceptable in more practical, academic, or professional writing. The purpose of creative writing is to both entertain and share human experience, like love or loss. Types of creative writing include poetry, plays, movies, television scripts, fiction such as novels, short stories and others, songs, speeches, memoirs, and personal essays. When we write about factual information, all of us write almost similarly. But when it comes to writing for pleasure or expression, each one of us may write about the same event or same thing in different ways. One crucial element in creative writing is imagination. This is reflected in our perspective or our view. Imagination is also reflected in our choice of words, in the comparisons we make, in the images we use, in the tone we adopt, and the novelty of ideas. Crucial element in creative writing is imagination. When you are asked to write a story or poem, you let your imagination free. You try to say things in a new way. This novelty is what makes your writing pleasurable to the readers. Creative writing is all about expressing ideas uniquely and excitingly. Creative writing is an art. It is not restricted to a specific format or strict rules. The free flow of thoughts about any subject is the prime focus in creative writing. You need to let your mind wander to get more creative in your writing. The most creative people are often very expressive in their ideas in a unique way. In this chapter, we will learn more about creative writing, and it will help you to get a strong hold on this unique skill of creating writing, which can be useful in your future. This chapter helps you to understand in depth about creative writing and the ways to develop this skill. There are many ways in which you can get stronger in creative writing. All the writers and poets are creative as they try to express ideas in their unique style. This helps them establish their own identity. Creative writing can be used in your examinations to present your answers in a creative way, which might help scoring better. The art of creative writing also helps you to think freely. Our today's chapter, number 6. Creative writing. The teacher was explaining the lines in the beginning of Shakespeare's play Macbeth. It was a description of the battle, and the lines were: like Valor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave. With near shook hands, nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps. This is a description of the battle from Shakespeare's play Macbeth. And this is what the teacher is reading to his students. Battle is a conflict, a combat, fight between large organized armed forces. Valor's minion. Valor means great bravery or courage, especially in battle. A minion is a favored follower or servant. To be a Valor's minion means to be brave. Valor is courage or bravery, and a minion is a follower. Saying Valor's minion is a way of saying that he is a brave warrior. Altogether, it means that he is fearless, he is brave. Valor suggests that Macbeth is courageous in the face of danger and in battle. In doing so, it shows Macbeth's heroism and gallantry. Like Valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave. To face means to be positioned with a face or front towards someone or something. To face means to confront and deal with or accept a difficult or unpleasant task. Slave is a person who is the legal property of another, official definition, and slave is forced to obey that person. Till he faced the slave. With ne'er shook hands, here ne'er is contraction. It means never. To bade means to bade farewell. It is when a friend says goodbye to another. This is verb to bid. In past tense, it is bade. Nor bade farewell to him. Till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps. Unseamed means to open or to cut open. Unseamed is past participle. It means to rip or to cut open. Shakespeare cuts certain words short. Knave refers to belly. Knave to the chaps. Knave to the chaps means from belly to the chin. This means he cut him open from his belly, from his navel to the chin. In this scene, a body has been cut from the belly button to the top of his head. The teacher asked the students what the word unseamed meant. It was difficult. The teacher prodded them on. The teacher is asking his students, what does the word unseamed mean? The teacher prodded. He prodded them on. To prod means to poke or stab. To point object. It means something pointed. He kept pointing it out. He was asking his students what the word unseamed meant. What does seam mean? He says. Haven't you ever come across the word? One of the students blurted out, cricket ball. To blurt out means to say abruptly or utter without thinking. To say something suddenly, without thinking of the results. Here, teacher is thinking about another word. Verb seem, to appear. However, unseamed means something else. Unseamed means to cut open. One of the students blurted out, cricket ball. This is an example of how each of us reacts to words according to what our own experience has been. Here, the student's experience was different. He got it completely wrong, but the teacher also got it completely wrong. This is an example of how each of us reacts to words according to what our own experience has been. When we write about factual information, all of us write almost similarly. But when we write for pleasure, each of us may write about the same event in different ways. One very important element in creative writing is imagination. This is reflected in our view of perspective, our choice of words, the comparisons we make, the images we use, the tone we adopt, and the novelty of ideas. Creative writing is not restricted to a specific format or strict rules. The free flow of thought is the prime focus in creative writing. Imagination is a crucial element in creative writing. Let us study the paragraph below. A town is like an animal. A town has a nervous system and a head and shoulders and feet. A town is a thing separate from all other towns, so that there are no towns alike. And a town has a whole emotion. How news travels through a town is a mystery not easily to be solved. News seems to move faster than small boys can scramble and dart to tell it, faster than women can call it over the fences. This is from an adapted version of Steinbeck's The Pearl. First of all, it is said that a town is like an animal. It has a nervous system and a head and shoulders and feet. A town is a thing separate from all other towns. There are no towns alike. There are no towns that look alike. And a town has a whole emotion. How news travels through a town is a mystery not easily to be solved. News seems to move faster than small boys can scramble and dart to tell it. Scramble, to scramble, is a verb which means to climb or ascend. To dart means to move or run somewhere suddenly or rapidly. To dart, to tell it, means to run out telling that. The news were spreading faster than the small boys could run and tell about the news. The news were spreading faster than women can call it over the fences. Here it refers to the women who are passing each other news over the fences. The topic is a town. Analogy or comparison is to an animal. A town is compared to an animal. What about the word choice? It is mentioned has a whole emotion. The town is described as emotional. And what about comparisons? It says faster than small boys can scramble and dart, and faster than women can call it over the fences. These are comparisons. In creative writing, we use certain techniques, such as character development, vivid setting, point of view, figures of speech, emotional appeal, metaphors, dialogue, underlying theme, similes, plot development, anecdotes, imaginative language, heavy description, and others. We find the first element of imagination operating in the way the writer visualizes a town. This is the first element of imagination. What is the way the writer, in which writer visualizes a town? The writer compares a town to an animal. He visualizes the town as something that has a whole emotion. So first, we find the first element of imagination operating in the way the writer visualizes a town. Then he extends the primary analogy. The tone he adopts is light humor, a little sarcastic. News are so far to be spread. News seem to spread more faster than anything, more faster than the boys who would run out to tell it. And we know that boys are very fast in running out to tell some news. The writer tells us that it is also faster than women can call it over the fences. It refers to women who pass each other news very fast. Here the writer says news seem to move faster than the women who call it over the fences. This is a light humor, a little sarcastic. When we begin to write a story or poem, we let our imagination free. We try to say things in a new way. This novelty is what makes our writing pleasurable to the reader. Sometimes sentence structures are also different from factual writing. Factual means concerned with what is actually the case, something that is truthful, true, genuine, or actually occurring. Sometimes sentence structures are also different from the factual writing, such as they waited in their chairs until the pearls came in, and then they cackled and fought and shouted and threatened until they reached the lowest price the fisherman would stand. This is a line from The Pearl. They waited in their chairs until the pearls came in, and then they cackled and fought and shouted and threatened until they reached the lowest price the fisherman would stand. To cackle means to laugh in a loud or harsh way. They cackled and fought and shouted and threatened until the lowest price was reached. In a normal construction, we will not use so many ands, such as here. And then they cackled and fought and shouted and threatened. But the action of the story is best reflected through this kind of chaining of actions through ands. It is appropriate to the moment of the action described. Let us look another example. She dragged me after her into Miss Rachel's sitting room, which opened to her bedroom. At the bedroom door stood Miss Rachel, her face almost white as the white dressing gown she wore. Her face was almost white as the white dressing gown she wore. Dressing gown is a sort of a house coat. Loose, open-fronted gown, closed with a fabric belt that is put on over nightwear or on rising from bed. In this example, the author has used a simile. White as the white dressing gown she wore. Simile is a figure of speech involving the comparison of one thing with another thing, of a different kind, used to make a description more emphatic or vivid. As white as the white dressing gown she wore. In fact, The whiteness of a human face is because of a strong emotion, fear or shock. This is the way the writer has introduced some kind of fear or shock. Whiteness of a human face is because of some strong emotion. Without mentioning the words fear or shock or strong emotion, the writer has given us a hint that her face was white because she was in a fear or shock. But here, comparing the whiteness to the dressing gown she wore serves to exaggerate and intensify the emotion. In this case, this whiteness is used to exaggerate, to intensify the emotion, to emphasize. To exaggerate means to overstress or overstate, to represent something as being larger, better, or worse than it really is. Exaggeration is one of the ways in which fact is distinguished from fiction. Fiction uses exaggeration. Now let's look at these lines from a well-known poem, an elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Gray. An elegy is a poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bare, full many a flower is born to blush unseen, and waste its fragrance in the desert air. These are lines from a poem by Thomas Gray. An elegy written in the country churchyard. Churchyard is an enclosed area surrounding a church, especially as used for burials, cemetery or graveyard. Full many means very or many. Gem means a jewel, precious stone. A precious or semi-precious stone, especially when cut and polished or engraved. Gem can be also used for an outstanding person or thing. The poet says, full many a gem. Many gems, many precious stones, many outstanding things, of purest ray serene. Serene means calm, peaceful, or not troubled. It means composed or collected. Full many a gem of purest ray serene. So many gems of purest rays, of purest, calm, peaceful rays. The dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bare. Unfathomed means not fully explored or understood. The dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bare. To bear means to support or to carry the weight of. It means to endure. The dark, unfathomed caves of ocean bare. These dark, not fully explored caves of ocean, bear or carry the weight. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen. Full many, we said, means very or many. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen. To blush means to show shyness by becoming red in face. It means to show some kind of embarrassment or shyness. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen. So many flowers are born to blush without being seen, and waste its fragrance in the desert air. These flowers are born to blush unseen and to waste their fragrance in the desert air. Fragrance refers to their smell. The stanza carries a simple statement. Many people with outstanding qualities live and die unnoticed by the world. Many people with extraordinary qualities live and die without being noticed. Outstanding means exceptionally good. To state this, the poet has used two strong images, a gem and a flower. He has used two contrasting places, the ocean that is full of water and the desert that has no water at all. Also, notice the rhyming words, serene and unseen, bare and air. The first and third lines also begin with the same words, full many a. First and third line both begin with the same words. These lines are of equal length. All this together can contribute to the literary quality of these lines. We mentioned earlier some techniques that are used in creative writing, such as dialogues, plot developments, underlying theme, anecdotes, descriptions, imaginative language, metaphors, similes, figures of speech, point of view, and so on. All this together contributes to the literary quality of these lines. Today we spoke about creative writing, and we said that imagination is a crucial element in creative writing. We also mentioned some examples. We mentioned Macbeth, the tragedy written by William Shakespeare, which was probably first performed in 1606. Shakespeare's play about a Scottish nobleman and his wife who murder their king for his throne charts the extremes of ambition and guilt. In this Shakespeare's tragedy, a Scottish nobleman and his wife murder their king. Another example mentioned was Steinbeck's The Pearl. The Pearl is a novel by John Steinbeck, an American author. The story was first published in 1947. It talks about a man who is a fisherman. These were our two examples. These will be activities, your today's assignments. First of all, you will put down the images that come to your mind immediately when you see the words in the box. Cat, cupboard, wall, pond, and bird. You will put down the images that come to your mind immediately when you see the word cat or cupboard and other words. Another activity is try to write 4 lines of poetry or 4 sentences of prose, with one of these as the starting point. Third activity is write a short story beginning with this sentence. When the last of the guests left, I went back into the hall. Try to write a short story beginning with this sentence. One more activity is to look for a story, a poem, and a newspaper article on environment conservation and see how the style of each is different from the other. These are few assignments and you can try to do them yourself. Next time we will go through them together. And don't forget, there are different techniques used in creative writing. Besides metaphors, similes, alliteration, personification, imagery, idioms, and onomatopoeia, there are other writing techniques that are used in creative writing, such as character development, point of view, plot development, underlying theme, vivid setting, anecdotes, all the figures of speech, emotional appeal, heavy description, imaginative language, and some other techniques. Here are some tips. Tips on creative writing. First of all, write about what you know. Second is, write about what you don't know. Explore and research. Read widely and well, because writers love reading. So make yourself familiar with the expressions of writing in your chosen field, whether it's a modern poetry, literary fiction, or something else. Nothing encourages good writing like reading good writing. Another tip is hook your readers. Your opening sentence or paragraph should encourage your readers to continue, perhaps by making them laugh or exciting their curiosity, or just making them want to find out what happens next. Another tip is get your characters talking. We find out about the people we meet through what they say to us, how they say it, their choice of words, their accent, and their verbal habits. Readers should be able to do the same with fictional characters. So make it fresh and authentic. If needed, edit it repeatedly to get it right. Another tip is show rather than tell. It means too much description and too many adjectives and adverbs can slow up your narrative and cause your readers to lose interest. So whenever possible, it's better to show your readers what a person or the atmosphere in the room or the relationship between your character is like. It is better to show it. That means show how they interact and what they do. It is more effective than words. Dear students, this will be all for today. Have a nice day and see you soon.